What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for AEW Rampage and SmackDown review. But before we get to that, of course, the big news coming out of yesterday is simple. WWE released 8 more talent. Why? Because they say budgetary reasons. A lot of the reasons are age, or they were Triple H's creation and supported by Triple H. And Vince McMahon is doing everything he can to rip Triple H's legacy, rip it apart, put it on the ground, spill gas, throw gas all over it, light that match, and set it on fire. It's happening every single week, every single month. There have been 80 plus talents released this year, and 95% of that talent, at least, have been from NXT, were created by Triple H or helped built by Triple H. This time around, we had Shane Thorne, who started off in NXT as part of TM61 and then the Mighty with his tag team partner who ended up leaving. Can't remember his name on top of my head. Then he came up, become part of the Retribution as Slapjack with a knockoff Jason mask. When that group split up, he disappeared and was only working dark matches as a Crocodile Dundee type gimmick, because that's the only people WWE can see from Australia. I'm surprised Rhea Ripley hasn't started becoming a Crocodile Dundee type character. Drake Maverick got fired last year. He was already supposed to be in this title tournament for the vacant Cruiserweight Championship, but he got fired. He went out there, put a video out, all sobbing and everything, nice emotional video. Was brought back and got given his job back. Even made it to the finals. So he did that with it helped release Santo Escobar into the world, revealing on him. Then he teamed up with Big Damo for a while until that partnership was gone. Then he came up to the main roster again and was fighting and running after the 24/7 championship, and that's all they did with him. Rockstar Spud is back. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I could see him going back to Impact, maybe going to anywhere. Who knows? Tegan Nox. I loved Nixon Newell when she was in What Culture Pro Wrestling, the first ever WCPW Women's Champion. Her no disqualification, I think it was either that or last woman standing match between her and Bea Priestley was fucking fantastic. She came to NXT, she became Stephanie Newell for a minute, she tore her ACL, she was out. She came back, was in the first ever, she was supposed to be in the first ever Mae Young Classic, but she tore her ACL, so she was out. Came back, was in the second Mae Young Classic, was supposed to win the Mae Young Classic, and in the semifinals round, I believe, she went for a dive. Her leg just hit first, tore ACL again. Comes back a third time, and I'm correct, she did tear her ACL again one more time. And then came back. She did the whole feud with her and Dakota Kai. Her and Dakota had a little bit. Then she was brought up to the main roster. She was teamed with Shotzi Blackheart. They won not one, not two, but 3 matches against the Women's Tag Team Champions at that time. Never got a title match. She was drafted to Raw. Never brought on Monday Night Raw. She never made it to Monday Night Raw. And now she's fired. Everyone was wondering, where is Tegan Nox? Why have we not seen Tegan Nox since the draft? Because they were getting ready to fire her. Why would they fire her? Because she was a Triple H. She was Triple H championed her. She tore her ACL multiple times, and Triple H just wanted to go out there and support her and get her back out there because he saw great things in Tegan Nox. Vince McMahon didn't see anything in Tegan Nox, so she's gone. A lot of people are happy that Jackson Riker is released. I had no problem with Gunner and Impact Wrestling. Him and James Storm, their partnership was the best thing he did there. Then they brought him. Then he came here, was part of the Forgotten Sons, And then he gave a tweet out. He tweeted out last year and supported Donald Trump, and all these dumb fucks and all these dumb asses who have Trump derangement syndrome went on social media and blasted the guy. He could have maybe tweeted a little bit better, maybe said a couple of things. People wanted him fired then, but they couldn't. They really realistically could not fire Jaxson Ryker at that time, because that would have been $1 million lawsuit right then and there, because it would have been like, well, I just give my opinion and you're going to fire me because you want to? I'm going to sue your ass. So they could have fired him like further down the line, but they didn't. They had him, they broke up the Forgotten Sons. They paired him with Elias. They were a team for a bit because he saw the light and Elias's music brought him to whatever. That didn't last very long, and then he went on to be a babyface, even though this was during the Thunderdome era, so they could make him a babyface if they wanted to. But it's kind of funny how we brought the crowds come back. I think he had one match in front of the crowd, and then they got rid of him. He disappeared. I'm surprised Elias hasn't been released yet, because this guy, when the crowds came back, we started seeing vignettes about Elias, the musician, being dead. Here comes Elias, the sports entertainer. We haven't seen Elias since then. This has been months, so I'm surprised he's still there. But there are deranged people out there. The people who have derangement syndrome are happy that Jaxson Ryker is fired. He didn't do anything. They didn't do enough with him or give him enough time. I don't know. Honestly, the Forgotten Sons should have not been up from NXT just yet. They barely even were used in NXT. I'm surprised Forgotten Sons made it past NXT, because they were forgotten all the time. Then you bring them up, and it looks like they may get a big somewhat of a push. They were supposed to be, I believe, they were supposed to be in a tag team title feud with the New Day last year, and then Jaxson Ryker went on and tweeted that, so they got axed from that. So yeah, it happens. Then of course the other two got fired way before he did, and there you go. John Morrison was fired from WWE 10 years ago, was it? Something like that. Went out, became Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, went on the Indies, Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling, made himself a main event player. Everybody couldn't wait when they found out that he's coming back to WWE. Man, this guy went out there and he made himself a star. WWE's going to have a bona fide WrestleMania main event in their laps. What do they do very first fucking night? Instead of re-debuting him at the Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble match, no, we're going to bring him in a week or two before the Royal Rumble. We're going to team him up with The Miz, and it's going to be like it's 2008 again. That's the extent they had in John Morrison. The faith they had in him was being The Miz's lackey. That is it. So he was the corny goofball again. Everything he did on the Indies didn't fucking matter because it didn't happen in WWE. And he was gone. Now he's gone. The Miz went to do Dancing with the Stars. And he comes back soon, probably after Survivor Series, because he hasn't been seen since he got eliminated. And the program waiting for him to come back from Dancing with the Stars isn't even there. So wouldn't be surprised if Miz sees his walking papers very soon. Let's see here. Then we have the big story. Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ashanti the Adonis, and $0 AJ Francis of Shit Row were all released one after another. Isaiah Swerve Scott and Ashanti the Adonis have one person to blame for this. AJ Francis, $0. This stupid, fat motherfucker goes on social media the night they get drafted to SmackDown. He goes on social media and just starts running his fucking mouth as if he has any right in the fucking world to run his stupid fucking mouth. This fat ass piece of shit thought he was big shit. He got signed by WWE. He even was on After the Bell a couple weeks ago talking about how I got signed by WWE in 2020. I'm going to be at WrestleMania this year. I'm going to be at WrestleMania the next year. Oh, I make sure I'm at WrestleMania 39. Wrong, you stupid fat fuck. You can't rap with shit. You couldn't wrestle with shit. You couldn't talk with shit. You fucking sucked at everything. You weren't ready to come up to the main roster. And on top of that, apparently, outside of the higher-ups like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Road Dogg at the time, the people underneath, he was rubbing the wrong way because he thought he was big shit. He thought he was a top dog just signing because he signed to WWE. Even though he had done absolutely fucking nothing except for look for WWE memorabilia on A&E. This fat fuck piece of shit is going to be sitting at home in his mama's basement asking, Mama, why didn't my music sell? Mama, why does no one listen to my rap? Well, son, because you're a fucking stupid ass piece of shit, big fucking tub of lard who thought he was big shit because he signed with WWE, hadn't paid his fucking dues, hadn't done anything to prove to write the checks that his mouth was trying. I'm sorry, he couldn't cash the checks his mouth was writing. And look, that tweet where it's like, don't lump the rest of these failures in with us because we're going to succeed because we can promo, looks really good now, doesn't it, you fat piece of shit? And I don't care. Oh, that's fatphobic. I don't care. He's a fat tub of lard who couldn't fucking wrestle with shit, couldn't cut a promo with shit, was coddled by Triple H, and was fired because he was a creation of Triple H. Hit Row was one of the very last things Triple H himself got to put together. The only person in that group that honestly I wish wouldn't have got fired because he had all the talent in the world, and if you gave the guy time on the main roster to get over with the fans, could have been a WrestleMania main eventer. And Biggie was on this radio show a couple weeks ago, and he talked about how WWE only has like four black world champions. If they would have given Isaiah Swerve Scott the time and the effort, he could have been the 5th black world champion in that company. He was that fucking good. Ashanti, decent at best. He had a lot more to him than the fat tub of lard known as Big Top Dollar. It sucks for Isaiah Ashanti because they are casualties of this fat fuck running his damn mouth. Nobody told him to go on Twitter and start bad-mouthing the Young Bucks in AEW. Nobody told him to go out there and start running his goddamn mouth as if he has any right to do that. He did this shit on his own. Did he think that he was going to get away with this and it was going to look good for him? No, he got what he fucking deserved. I ain't going to shed a tear for Top Dollar, this fat tub of lard, getting fired. He got what he deserved. He's the only one out of everybody on this list I don't feel bad for. He got what he deserved. He can go back to his mama's basement and wonder, why am my music selling? Because, hey, I fucking suck. This motherfucker will never be in professional wrestling again. It was WWE or bust for him. Shane Strickland will be fine. I guarantee that when Shane Strickland got fired and that notification went up and said Isaiah Swerve Scott is released from WWE, I bet you if he has an email for business inquiries, I bet you that thing was being flooded with independent promotions asking, are you going to be available? What's your rate? And when can we see you in 90 days? Hey, guess what? AJ, you got what you fucking deserve, you fat son of a bitch. Tegan Nixon Newell, which is what she's going by now. Again, I hope to see her in AEW. She will be fucking fantastic there. Impact Wrestling still has the best women's division in all of professional wrestling. It's not even close. Even if Mickie James is the women's champion, it should have been Deonna Purrazzo. No, that's neither here nor there. But Nixon Newell, Athena, if you can get both of those women into the AEW women's division, get that title off the Faker, put it on Thunder Rosa. You have Thunder Rosa, Shida, Ruby Soho, Chris Statlander, Athena Moon, if you want to call it whatever, Athena, and Nixon Newell, that's 6 women right there. Serena Deeb, that's 7. That's a hell of a fucking uppercut division. Add in the likes of a Tay Conti who could be up there too. Eventually Anna Jay. Julia Hart's one of those ones that's going to be a couple years from now. Abaddon can go away. She doesn't do shit. Red Velvet is somebody who could be, like, if you're talking about talents in this company, like for the women's division for AEW, you have Julia Hart, who is young, green, and has a long way to go. And then you have all the way to Thunder Rosa, who is the best of the best. The Faker is right above Julia Hart, plain and simple. Then you have Abaddon, who's a little bit above her. And then you have, like, Anna Jay and all the other women. Like, Sky Blue, if she's going to be signed, she's somewhere between the Faker and Julia Hart. But then you have Athena, a.k.a. Ember Moon. You have Nixon Newell. If you can get both of those women into AEW, they would be between Tay Conti and Thunder Rosa in that area. Because they are both that fucking good. Just imagine. Thunder Rosa versus Athena. Thunder Rosa versus Nixon Newell. Ruby Soho versus Athena. Ruby Soho versus Nixon Newell. Shida versus Athena or Nixon Newell. I can just see so many matches of the top women. Serena Deeb versus Nixon Newell. Nixon Newell is the quintessential underdog babyface in any women's division you can find. Having her go up against an evil bitch heel Serena Deeb. That would just be a match for the fucking... That'd be a hell of a match of the year type candidate right there. AEW, Tony Khan, I know they can't hire everybody. Honestly, if I can be honest, I think the men's side is full. They don't need any more men. They got enough men for now until you let somebody like a Sonny Kiss, Joey Janela, or any of those lower tier people go so you can hire in new people. The women is where Tony Khan and them need to focus. The men's division and the tag team division, those two divisions are stacked. Like people have said before, Kenny Omega is going to go away for a good while. He's going to get a labrum done, his labrum fixed. He's going to get his knee fixed. He's going to get a hernia done. He hopes to be back around mid-February. I think that's a little too early. But he goes away, and Jon Moxley's off in his doing rehab for alcoholism. And those are 2 big names. Any other company have those 2 big names go away, they're fucked. Look at SmackDown or WWE. If Roman Reigns gets injured or Roman Reigns has to leave for an extended period of time, WWE is fucked. He is the only thing that actually people give a shit about. But AEW don't have that problem in the men's division. The women's division fucking sucks, and you just fired Nixon Newell, who would have been a great fucking woman for the top of the Raw division. The women's division in AEW is still lagging behind. Yes, like I said, you have like the women like Julia Hart who come from the Nightmare Factory who are just getting into it. Julia, I keep using her because she is like the most recent person to come from the Nightmare Factory. She's not. You're not going to expect to see her wrestling for a title for at least 2 or maybe 3 years. She's got a long way to go before we see her up near a Ruby Soho or a Thunder Rosa level. They need some of those to work Dark Elevation to get their reps in, to be able to be eventually able to challenge for the TBS Championship or challenge for the AEW Women's World Championship 2-3 years from now. Because Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander, who's not up in the upper up, the TBS Championship would be great for Chris Statlander because of just where she's at right now. Women's Championship, not there yet. TBS Championship is about her level right now. Eventually, she'll be Women's World Championship material 2 years from now, maybe next year. But you need those young guns who are going to need the seasoning right now to eventually be there. But you need more seasoned women to make this women's division thrive. Yes, you have Shida. Yes, you have Thunder Rosa. Yes, you have Ruby Soho. Yes, you have shit. Jamie Hayter is not too bad. She's on the lower tier. She's in between Ruby Soho and Chris Statlander. She's in there somewhere. Only because we hadn't seen her for about a year and a half because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe she'd be a lot better off had she not had to miss. Then you have Riho, who was the first women's champion. She's up there. She's not on Thunder Rosa's level, but she's around there. Then you have like all these women that you see, like a Maddie Ramkowski, who just lucked into a position in AEW because she was training with Thunder Rosa. Anna Jay got hurt. She got put in the women's eliminator tournament at the beginning in the beginning of February, which of course she didn't win. She lost her first round match. I can't remember who it was to, but she has gotten more time on Dark and Dark Elevation because of that one spot. So getting an Athena and a Nixon Newell could help this women's division out more than anything. The women's division is where AEW needs to go and get talent. I love Keith Lee. I love Killer Kross to see what they would do. AEW does not need those talents right now. Shane Strickland, he'll be great wherever he goes. Whether it's Impact, whether it's House of Glory, whether it's GCW, whether it's in this new era of Ring of Honor, when they come back, maybe he works Ring of Honor a couple times. Maybe he goes back to MLW. I hear he is really popular in MLW. He's going to do great wherever he goes. Like I said, he probably has hundreds of fucking emails saying, hey man, when are you going to be back? Well, I know you got 90 days, but when can we set you up for a match? We'll pay whatever. John Morrison, Impact, I see Impact calling him back. I think that would be great for Johnny Impact to return, along with Taya Valkyrie. Those two go back to Impact Wrestling, and boom, that's where they probably honestly belong. Shane Thorne, New Japan Pro Wrestling sounds great. I know Nick Miller, I think it was his tag team partner. I believe he works for New Japan, or he works for All Japan, one of those two. Jackson Ryker, hell if I should know. Maybe he works a couple indies places. Drake Maverick, I don't know where Spud goes. I think he might go back to Impact. Maybe he teams up with EC3 and becomes his buddy again. Ashanti the Adonis, hell if I should know. $0, he's going to do absolutely nothing but be a shitty rapper on YouTube, on Twitter, where nobody's going to give a shit by the end of this month. Spend enough time on this. Let's get to the shows. Again, hey, first off, I don't care. I do not want to see anybody lose their job. I think what WWE's been doing out of quote-unquote budgetary reasons is bullshit. Most of these releases this year have been Triple H's creations and Triple H's heart and soul in what he did for NXT. And Vince McMahon is doing everything he can out of jealousy because Triple H took NXT from a developmental brand to the #1 wrestling brand in all of the United States for 5 years. 5 years, 7 years. No, 5 years. It was 5 years. 2014. From 2014 to 2019, NXT was the #1 wrestling spot to go to in all of the United States. That's why you got an Adam Cole, a Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly, a Roderick Strong, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, Samoa Joe, Karrion Kross, Dominic Dijakovic, Keith Lee, all came to NXT. There's more. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. There's more. Seth Rollins, I wouldn't count Seth Rollins because he was there before NXT really blew up. He was in Florida Championship Wrestling and then came to NXT, won the championship first, was the first NXT champion, but the Shield started in 2012, and NXT was still developmental, and you had to, honestly, I had to watch the first few episodes of NXT that I actually got to see on Daily Motion. That was the only place I found it was Daily Motion. But when it came to the network, then you got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and all these other indie talents. Shinsuke Nakamura came over. Kushida, before they ruined him with Jacket Time. What the fuck is that shit? Just so much talent was just coming through NXT and was making it great. Undisputed Era, the greatest faction in the last decade. I wouldn't say the last decade. The greatest faction in WWE since the first incarnation of the Shield. Probably even better because they held all the gold at one time. They were great. The Gargano Ciampa feud until Ciampa hurt his neck was fantastic. Then they did it. Then they overkilled it. And it's just so much good was happening in NXT. And then Triple H was forced to move it to Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock or 2 hours live against AEW. And I and everyone else knew AEW, there was no chance NXT was winning, ever. They got one win, maybe two, in that entire year and a half, 2-year battle. They got barely anything, and NXT got beaten to the point where they moved to Tuesdays, and everybody knew that Triple H was going down, and it was going to be his fault. He was instructed, kill AEW, and that's all you get to do. Kill them, and we win, and we're going to be the number. We'll be the only game in town again. That didn't happen, and here you go. And Triple H was getting, like, they gave Triple H a heart attack. All of his hard work is gone, and it's becoming more and more every single fucking week. Every month we have release after release. Ciampa, Gargano, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, and Io Shirai are like the only few people left in NXT 2.0 who actually were scouted by Triple H, brought in by Triple H. Sarai too, I guess, would be one of the last few, and they're going to be gone soon too. Alright, as we do, we start with Rampage here as we continue on. Darby Allin versus Billy Gunn. Why is this match happening? Because Darby Allin lost on Friday, on Saturday last week. This is what the consequences of losing in AEW are. Darby Allin lost. He has to fight Billy Gunn. MJF won. He's battling CM Punk. You can see the difference there. But I will say, if you watch this match, how the fuck is this guy doing it? How does Billy Gunn look this fucking good? This guy is 58 years old. He don't look a day over 35. My God. What is his secret? Now I know, what was it, 2015, 16, something like that. Or when they were doing Tough Enough. Like, right after Tough Enough, I think, ended, the one that they did on the WWE Network, which was fucking stupid. Billy Gunn was caught at a bodybuilding contest with taking growth hormones, and he got fired for it. Well, please tell me that's not how he's doing this. I'm pretty sure he gets tested all the time. I'm not sure. But this guy looks fucking great. And basically, this was Darby Allin, as I think it was, of course, Ricky Starks is on commentary, said, how does Darby Allin get through these matches? How does Darby Allin win his matches? He survives. That was what this was. Billy Gunn, of course, if you looked at these two, my God, this was a David versus Goliath if you've ever seen one. Darby Allin's getting thrown around. Gunn is just beating the shit out of him, throwing him all over the ring, all over the outside, picking on, like, making fun of Sting. Does a woo in the corner towards the end of the match, but like Darby Allin's just getting beaten pillar to fucking post. He did a fucking back body drop, like a liftover back body drop. Holy shit, Darby Allin flew high. Damn, it was fucking, that was a lot. That was a drop for Darby Allin. Darby Allin has his ribs taped because of this past Saturday, and Darby Allin just, he got beaten up in this match. But the bullying continues after the break. Allin is flat on the mat. Gunn looks pleased. They take the contest to the ropes, but after Allin starts to bite Gunn's flesh off, Billy falls off the mat. Allin turns his attention over towards Austin and Colton. He launches out the ring post and hits a huge coffin drop. Back in the ring, he fires up. One coffin drop to Billy Gunn. Didn't even get a 1 count. Billy kicks out. Goes up top for the other rope. Hits another coffin drop. 1, 2, 3. Billy Gunn gets beat. Darby Allin is your winner. Sting looks to get in the ring, and Austin and Colton rush to grab him and pull him out, and they go inside and start beating up Darby Allin. Sting heads down, tries to break things up. Billy eventually chop blocks Sting, allowing the Gun Club to destroy Allin and Sting. They leave them laying. They snicker, they raise their hands, and the Gun Club stands tall. So, the Gun Club, I don't know why. They're dark regulars. Austin and Colton obviously must not be ready for prime time because they don't wrestle, if at all, on TV. But here they are on Rampage. But Darby Allin gets the win. The Gun Club gets to look strong, I guess, afterwards. We look back at MJF and CM Punk's confrontation with this past Wednesday, and we go to the back with QT Marshall, and he wants to fight CM Punk in Chicago. Now, after last Wednesday's show, my dad was like, well, CM Punk's from Chicago, and they haven't mentioned a match for him next week. Well, apparently we're getting CM Punk versus QT Marshall, and this isn't even a match. CM Punk is going to beat the living shit out of QT Marshall, and CM Punk is going to leave this guy laying for dead. And then I thought we were going to get a promo off between MJF and CM Punk. Apparently that's not going to be the case. Maybe it will be. We'll have to wait and see. I see this match maybe lasting 2 minutes, and then we can have CM Punk and MJF, but we'll have to wait and see. And it was Circle reflecting the big victory against American Top Team last Saturday. Scorpion Sky and Ethan Page weigh in on this and say the rivalry is far from over. And it's not the last we've seen of Dan Lambert on American Top Team. And I hope it is. TBS Women's Quarterfinal match, Jade Cargill versus Red Velvet. I did not give two shits about this match. It was obvious from the previous match. It was like Jade Cargill's not losing to anybody unless it's a big name like a Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho, or even the women's champion, even though the women's champion ain't a big fucking name. This is a match that you knew that Jade Cargill was gonna fucking win. She destroys her, she wins, we move on. Speaking of Thunder Rosa, La Mera is ready for Conquer Hayter this Wednesday. I fully see Jamie Hayter going down to Thunder Rosa. And because, honestly, do you really want to see Jamie Hayter versus Jade Cargill at this time? Hell no. I will say this about Jade Cargill. She has massive potential, obviously. I mean, you don't look like that unless you have massive potential. The problem is, she's not even close to being ready for this tournament. There is no way anybody should have put her in this tournament. Her timing is terrible. She looks hesitant half the time. She just does not look good in the ring. Her in this tournament is a stain on this women's title tournament. There was no fucking reason to put Jade Cargill in this tournament. Oh, but she's one of the top 4 women in the rankings. Well, you don't put her in the top 5 of the rankings because she hasn't beat anybody. Why wasn't Riho in this spot? Where's Layla Hirsch? Where the fuck's she at? She injured, apparently. Why couldn't you figure out somebody else for this spot? But no, you give it to Jade Cargill because you had to have her in the top 4. On Sunday, Hangman Page went from being an anxious millennial cowboy to a confident cowman. We look back at the AEW World Champions confrontation with Bryan Danielson next Wednesday. Danielson will go toe-to-toe with Boom Boom Colt Cabana. Cannot wait for that. CM Punk does accept the challenge, and he says, bring all your boys from not Camarato to Solo to even Ogogo. Hey, somebody remembers Anthony Ogogo is a part of the factory. Nobody has seen him since his loss to Cody at Double or Nothing because of his eye. Next Friday on Rampage. They usually don't do this either. We usually don't get a Rampage match announced a week ahead. Unless, of course, like, when we had a couple weeks ago where Rampage was going to be, Rampage was going to be live, or I don't know. Anyway. Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia will be happening next Friday on Rampage. Black Friday Rampage is what they're calling it. It is on Black Friday. AEW's Winter is Coming will return on December 15th. We did see the revival of Sting last year, and the AEW World Championship did change hands as Kenny Omega stole the title from Jon Moxley and ran with it and became the longest reigning champion, just losing it this past Saturday. Main event time, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole, 2.5 of the Undisputed Era from NXT, take on the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus of the Jurassic Express. Before the match, Christian Cage promised if the Young Bucks try to interfere, he is going to bring his friend, and that friend of his is a steel chair. So, majority of this match is the former UE members teaming up and beating up on Jungle Boy, dominating the number 2 tag team in the division during this match. But before it all went bad, like, they were dominating, looked like they were going to come out with a win. Unfortunately, the Young Bucks decided to stick their nose in this match. Now, they could have had, this could have went really bad because Luchasaurus decided he was going to stand out and stare these guys down. And that could have led to the end of the match if Bobby Fish would have capitalized and took the opportunity to attack and defeat Jungle Boy, but he didn't. So Christian comes running down. He chases the Young Bucks around the ring. Adam Cole's on the floor at this time. He runs away too, and the Super Click is held off by Christian with the chair as Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus team up and beat Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish gets hit in the snare trap for a tap out victory. So, yeah, of course, Bobby Fish and Adam Cole could have problems because, hey, you left me high and dry, but he was held back by a steel chair, so you can't really blame him for the entirety of it. Over to SmackDown, which was much ado about nothing. The show starts. We have the throne, the cape, the scepter, and the crown in the middle of the ring. The Usos are out there. They're all celebrating. They're all jovial. They're all happy because they're going to introduce their cousin, the Tribal King, Roman Reigns, who comes out. He comes out with Paul Heyman. They make their way to the ring. They get in the ring. Paul Heyman has his usual spiel. He's talking and praising up Roman Reigns. Roman wants the mic. He gets in. He's like, "Whose idea was this? Did you think I wanted? Do you think I care about any of this? I don't need any of this. I'm the tribal chief. I don't need that. I don't need props to be acknowledged. Hartford, acknowledge me." And there was, I'd say, 80-20 boos to cheers. Yes, there are people who cheer because there are people who are going to cheer a guy like Roman Reigns and everyone else is going to boo him. So, he doesn't need any of this. He doesn't care about any of this. He doesn't need this to be acknowledged. He puts his head where he can earn the respect. Reigns says the only reason he took the crown last week is because he could. Out comes King Woods. Woods says those items in the ring are his possessions, but they don't take a true king. Woods says what makes him a king is knowing that you're doing good for the WWE Universe. If Reigns was a king for what he did last week, he'd face Woods like a man and settle this man to man with me. He challenged Reigns to settle this like a man without his goons so he could show Reigns what a real king is made of. Reigns can't believe Woods doesn't care about his stuff and that it means nothing to him. And he says, Jay grabs robe, ruffles it up, sneezes into it, throws it down, steps on it. Roman Reigns steps on it. He's like, "Are you sure?" Woods is like, "Clothes don't make the man." Jay breaks the scepter. Woods doesn't budge. They take the throne, destroy it. It looks, honestly, the scepter and the throne looked cheap as shit when they broke it. They throw it out there, and Woods obviously is getting a little heated. He's like, "You just seem to be a little heated, man." They go to destroy the crown, but Reigns asks, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you sure this crown means nothing to you?" He goes and puts it down. He goes to step on it. Woods finally gets in the ring to get his crown back. They beat the shit out of him. The Usos do. They hold him. Reigns has the crown and he says, "I'm the only king around here, and I don't need props I don't need props because I'm the one." Puts the crown on its side, stomps on it, and it just breaks as if it was the cheapest crown you find at your local department store. This thing looked like it was made of paper mache. It just broke completely. He ripped it up. He threw it into him. He grabbed Xavier and just smashed his face down. They stand tall as Woods is recovering while they all celebrate. So that just so Xavier Woods gets the King of the Ring and doesn't even hold it for a month before the crown, the scepter, and the cape were all destroyed. He's still being called King Woods, but he doesn't have a crown, doesn't have a cape, doesn't have a scepter. I guess we can kill the King Woods shit now. He got King of the Ring. They're never going to take that away from him, but we can forget about that. And they took the crown off of his picture in the graphic for Survivor Series by the end of the night, by the way. So we saw how Sami Zayn was removed from Team SmackDown last week. We need a 5th member. Hey, look, we have a qualifying match. Sheamus versus Cesaro versus Ricochet versus Jinder Mahal, who, whatever they were doing last week with Shit Row, just got thrown out. Like it never even happened. Good one, Vince. Back from break, and Kayla's backstage with Xavier Woods, who is selling the beatdown. He's asked, "Where do you go from here?" He says, "Where do I go? I'll be in the ring tonight as Romans will accept my challenge, and he will pay." He says, "Everyone knows that Roman Empire wasn't built in a day, but it will fall tonight." He limps away. We go to the ring. Ricochet is making his entrance. Jinder Mahal and Cesaro are already out there. The bell rings, and we have ourselves a match. Decent fatal 4-way here. At least we had somebody had to earn their way onto a Survivor Series team. I mean, Bobby Lashley did. I guess Austin Theory technically did because he was... I know I don't say that, but Bobby Lashley did, and the winner of this match did. That's the most you got out of this. By the way, Toni Storm was thrown onto Team SmackDown for the women's division on Thursday for the hell of it. Let me give you a prediction of what's going to be in Toni Storm's future. She's going to be in the elimination. She's going to be in the 5-on-5 match this week, this in 2 days. She's going to be eliminated. She's going to be in the match first. She's going to be eliminated within 5 minutes. She's going to face Charlotte or Sharbot on Friday next week. She's going to get beat soundly. She's going to disappear back to catering, and the next time they have a round of cuts, Toni Storm will be on that list more than likely because she is another Triple H project. And Vince McMahon is doing everything in his power to erase Triple H's legacy from this company. And that's all there is to it. So, we have the match here. Good match here. Cesaro gets Jinder Mahal in the swing for a good while. I think it was like 21, 22 times. Goes and gets him in the sharpshooter. Doesn't finish the match because Ricochet finally comes in, kicks him a couple times to get him off of him. Cesaro goes for the Gotch neutralizer on Sheamus, but Ridge Holland runs down as Sheamus backdrops Cesaro to block the neutralizer. Cesaro ducks a bro kick and rolls Sheamus up for 2. Holland gets on the apron and swings at Cesaro, but Cesaro ducks it. Goes for him, but Holland retreats to the floor. Sheamus takes advantage, levels Cesaro with a bro kick. 1, a 2, a 3, and Sheamus is your winner. Sheamus goes to Survivor Series. SmackDown looking pretty good for who they have. Except for, of course, they have Baron Corbin. Kayla's backstage with Jeff Hardy. She asks about how this year's SmackDown team stacks up against past years. He talks about teaming with legends in the past, but then praises Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods, and Sheamus. But talks about how happy Baron Corbin is out for himself, and you never know what will happen with him. Corbin and Madcap Moss walk up. Moss once and makes a redneck joke on Hardy. Pierce walks up and he says he wants Team SmackDown to win on Sunday. I'm sorry, what? Weren't you just on Raw 2 weeks ago and taking Dominic Mysterio off of the team because you wanted Team Raw to win 5-0? He didn't want to be down to the wire. He wanted to beat them 5-0. And now he's all, oh, I'm pro SmackDown. I'm waving my SmackDown flag. I got my SmackDown shirt on. Here's a good idea, Vince. You have Adam Pearce who can run SmackDown, and Sonya Deville can run Raw, or vice versa. So you have one GM on Raw, one GM on SmackDown. So when Adam Pearce comes out and says, I want X team to win, it makes a little bit more sense. Why should Adam Pearce care if Raw or SmackDown teams win? It makes no fucking sense. But he says Corbin needs to act like a member of the team. He says Moss is always laughing, but we'll see if he's laughing when he wrestles Hardy tonight. Hardy busts out in this big, huge laugh and then just gets very serious as the segment ends. Charlotte and Becky, we previewed that for them. Who gives a shit? Back from break, and Megan Miranda is backstage with Rich Holland and Sheamus. Sheamus says Holland believed in him and goes about how he inspired Rich Holland to become WWE superstar. They get all buddy, happy. I don't give a shit. They're gonna go to a bar. Good for them. Aaliyah and Naomi versus Shayna Baszler and Natalya. This started out fine and got really stupid. So, the match lasted 2 minutes. Natalya comes in the ring, Baszler slams Naomi by her hair. Natalya covers. The referee, which is the black female referee, goes 1, 2, 3, and the match is over. What? We are 2 nights from Survivor Series, and we're gonna do a screw job finish. I want to know in a promo, a justifiable promo, what the vendetta this stupid bitch known as Sonya Deville has against Naomi. It doesn't make any sense. Naomi comes back, comes into the fucking into her office, knocks on the door, doesn't just budge, and then knocks on the door and it's like, hey, I'm back on SmackDown. When can I have a match? And that offended Sonya Deville to the point where she's taking and paying off referees to screw Naomi out of matches. How stupid does that fucking look? Very stupid, mind you. Dumb. Just dumb. Of course, this is probably going to lead to her getting back in the ring, but you could do it a better fucking way. Jeff Hardy versus Madcap Moss. This match lasted about 2 minutes. The bell hits and Hardy gets slammed to the mat by Moss. Moss with knees to the face, to the ribs. Now is Corbin cheers him on. Moss with a big right hand. By the way, Hardy brought Drew McIntyre out because he wanted an even playing field. Hardy with a twist of fate. Hardy goes up top for the swanton. Corbin looks to distract with McIntyre launches him over the announce table. Moss crotches Hardy from the top. Moss goes for the suplex in the middle of the ring. Hardy counters, rolls him up, 1, 2, 3, and that's the match. 2 minutes or less. Why do we have to have matches on SmackDown and Raw that last 2 minutes or less? I just don't fucking get it. Hardy stands tall. Corbin comes in, but McIntyre levels him with a Claymore. Moss gets leveled by McIntyre. Hardy goes up and hits a swanton on Moss, and they celebrate, and that is that. Paul Heyman's on the phone, and then his favorite interviewer comes up and scares him from behind, Kayla Braxton. She just loves doing that. The interaction between these two is actually one of the funnier things on this show. It's actually one of the better things outside of Roman Reigns on TV is the interaction between Kayla Braxton and Paul Heyman. Just saying. Kayla Braxton walks up, startling him, and asks if he heard the challenge word man. He says, "Yes, I heard I heard what he had to say. He's tired of people saying Reigns needs the Usos because he doesn't need his counsel either. He makes us all better." Like Kayla does. Heyman says if Woods wants to challenge Reigns or call his bluff for just hours before he smashes Big E, that challenge is accepted, and he walks off. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Angel Garza. Guess what? Another 2 to 3 minute match. Why? You don't have to have everybody on TV every single week. Give me Angel Garza versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a 15-minute match. Give me Jeff Hardy versus Madcap Moss in a 10-minute match. That's good television, but no, we're just going to do 2 3-minute matches. Nakamura wins. What else can I say? Then we see the recent happens between Shotzi Blackheart and Sasha Banks facing off backstage. Sonya Deville gets in between them and says, "Things were heated, Banks, but Shotzi says Banks is a petty, vindictive little brat. Shotzi says she never forgets when she gets screwed over, and payback is a... Banks cuts her off and says if she had a nickel for every time someone tried to make a Dave off of her, she'd be rich. Oh, wait. She is. She brags about being the Team SmackDown captain, says no one would know Shotzi if she weren't for Banks. Banks says she's right. Payback is a bitch, and so is she. The real interrupter says they can settle things in the ring, but she expects them be on the same page after the match, and they must shake hands. Shotzi Blackheart versus Sasha Banks, and the TCB tank has been put out of commission. It is no longer at ringside. Shotzi is a heel. The tank is a babyface thing. Did you expect anything else? I didn't. Neither should you. This, of course, was the longest match of the fucking night. This match was pretty good. Shotzi trying to get one up on Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, she even put her hand in the steps, that little thing that little handle place, and kicks it a couple times, trying to do damage to it. But Sasha Banks was able to get her into a bank statement, but her arm was compromised, so she went with the good old leg submission and got Shotzi to tap out. After the match, she stands tall. Sonya is on the stage looking at these two. So Sasha picks her up and they shake hands. But Sasha with the backstabber, and she walks off. She goes, you know what? She goes to Sonya. She's like, hey, listen. I did. I shook her hand. You told me we need to shake hands, and I shook hands. But you didn't. But Sonya never said that she had to shake hands and then walk away. She did not say you have to shake hands, but you can't do anything else. So that's on Shotzi for not. That made Shotzi look stupid because she didn't go for it first. Bloodline is backstage in the locker room. Roman Reigns and Paul ask Paul, "Hey, Wiseman, is it time?" It is indeed time. They get up. The Usos go with them, but he's like, "Nah, I got to do this by myself." But really, could you expect anything else? A coming soon vignette for Xia Li. What the hell was this? We see a manga, an animated looking manga comic, and it says Xia Li Volume 1. What the hell was this? It's a story of her growing up with her family, her father suddenly passing away, the evil landlord kicked them out on the streets with her father gone. It was up to Lee to defend the family, and that's what she did, taking out the landlord. And then we see her throwing strikes, and I'm like, she is her father's daughter, she is her family's protector, she is Xia Li. What the hell was this? Like, she's a comic book character now? Do you see how that's working for Nikki Trash over there? Is she supposed to be the female Shang-Chi? Did Vince McMahon or Bruce Pritchard or John Laurinaitis watch Shang-Chi and be like, we need to do something like that? Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. It's stupid, and she got an animated video package. I expect her to make one appearance and then get fired, like Aleister Black did. I expect her to get one appearance, maybe have one match. Vince McMahon will be like, I don't get it, and fire her. I can see Toni Storm and Xia Li being released before the end of the year. That's just how things have been going. With the Royal Rumble coming up next year, are there 30 women on WWE's rosters for Raw, SmackDown, NXT? Then you have to go to NXT UK to get some women or Legends, because I don't think they have 30 women, competent women, to even have a competent 30-woman Royal Rumble match. Kelly Braxton is backstage with Toni Storm, who's going to probably be fired in the next few weeks with how WWE is doing things. Congratulating her on Team SmackDown spot. Storm is so excited to represent the blue brand after representing Team NXT at the Survivor Series in 2019. We see how Storm confronted SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte 9000. Storm says Charlotte is consumed with her Survivor Series match against Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch, which is understandable, but Storm says Charlotte is vulnerable when she loses on Sunday, and her ego won't be able to handle that. She's going to come to her guns blazing, but she's not afraid of the Charlotte, like some might be, and while Charlotte will want to take her loss out on Storm, all Storm wants is a title shot. Charlotte walks up and says, after she proves her superiority over Becky and beats the crap out of her, you're next. I won't give you. I won't give you a title match, but I will give you a match. And I will do to you what I do to Becky on Sunday. And then Storm just sits there and smiles like that went just as I thought. Out comes King Xavier Woods. Chance cheer for him. We head to commercial break. We come back. He's in the ring with the mic. He calls out Universal Champion Reigns and gets a pop for shouting out Hartford, Connecticut. You know, gotta get that cheap pop, Mick Foley. Reigns says Woods says he's here to find out if Reigns is a man. He recalls how he hit the big elbow drop on Reigns last week. But then the tag team champions showed up and the match ended in no contest. Says that means the tribal chief can't beat Xavier Woods on his own. That's not a good look in booking, Vince. Nobody should be going out there and saying that Roman Reigns can't beat them on his own. Especially not somebody like Xavier Woods. Like I said, Xavier Woods is one of the most underrated guys in WWE, but he should not be getting a one-up on Roman Reigns like this. Woods says if it makes Roman feel better, some kind of way, bring your ass to the ring and prove him wrong. Woods waits. Out comes Roman Reigns. Stops, poses in the entranceway. Heyman turns around and says, Usos. Roman gets this big smile like, you're fucked, motherfucker. But nobody shows up. Heyman says, Usos. And he does it again. And nobody shows up. All of a sudden, one Uso gets thrown out. The other Uso gets thrown out. Cues music. Out comes WWE Champion Big E. This ain't no jovial. This is no happy-go-lucky Big E. This is pissed off Big E. This is, you hurt my family. I'm coming to kick your ass, Big E. I like this Big E. This Big E is the Big E I want to see all the fucking time as WWE Champion. So they start the fight in the middle of the rampway. They're brawling. They get in the ring. Roman sends Reigns into the steel steps, into the ring. Those two beat the hell out of him, Xavier Woods and Big E. The New Day stomp away on Reigns, now just keep him down in the middle of the ring. The Usos hit the ring, but Big E nails a big ending into one. Woods rocks the other with a big boot. Big E with another big ending to the other. Fans pop for E. Woods is then they stand tall. Woods runs and leaps over out to the floor, taking Usos down at ringside. Big E turns around to a big Superman punch from Reigns in the middle of the ring. Reigns does his pose, getting ready to spear Big E. Big E catches him, goes for the big ending. Roman slips out, and he's gone. So, Big E and Xavier Woods celebrate as the show goes off the air, and Roman Reigns cowers with his cousins in the back. This was pretty cool. Like I said, that's the Big E I want to see. I don't want to see this guy coming out there swiveling his hips, joking and being a goofball and shit. I want to see this guy going out there pissed as ever that you hurt my boys, you hurt my brothers. I'm coming for your ass, and your ass is going to be done when I come for you. That's what I want to see. That is fucking fantastic. Big E versus Roman Reigns. It's going to be a damn good match. I do not see Big E winning. So, let's talk about that. Let's talk about Survivor Series. WWE did not give a shit about Survivor Series, so I'm not even going to go over each one of the matches. My predictions are Roman Reigns, Damian Priest, the Usos, the women's championship the women's championship match. I'm going to go with Becky with some shenanigans. Team Raw for the women's match. Team SmackDown for the men's match, and that is your Survivor Series. There was nothing else. WWE doesn't want to give it the time of day it deserves. Why should anybody give a shit? If you look at the other big fours and Money in the Bank, they're all in stadiums next year outside of SummerSlam. We don't know what SummerSlam is going to be. Oh, wait, yeah, we do. But they're all in stadiums. Survivor Series is in a normal arena like every other pay-per-view. Money in the Bank is your fourth biggest pay-per-view of the year. It's going to be in where SummerSlam was this year. It's going to be at the Raiders Stadium. So why should anybody care about Survivor Series? If you're going to go out there on a Saturday say here, like 2 weeks before the show happens, and you're gonna put Survivor Series teams and matches all announced on a Saturday, and then Monday and the next Friday, you're going to start changing the teams up for the fucking hell of it. Why should we all care? Why? There is literally no reason to fucking care. So, that is your SmackDown and Rampage review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Monday for Raw. I'm sorry, no. I will see you on Sunday for Survivor Series. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.